Hi, everyone. I'm just giving the members a little bit more time to join. So we'll just wait a couple more minutes and then we'll start.
Amy, your photo on your Zoom thing just makes it look like you are seriously winning a staring contest with everyone in this meeting.
It's pretty intense, I know.
Like I got on the meeting and I was like, oh, Amy's the only one with her camera on. And then I was like, wait, I don't think she has her camera on.
Yeah, it's a very still photo of me, and now for some reason my phone is in safe driving mode despite me being at my desk, and I don't even see how to turn on my image for when I'm speaking, so apologies.
It's as if your camera is
on. All right. Hello, everybody. There we go. Hey, Amy.
Hey.
So we are waiting for a couple more people, but I think we should probably just start. And I don't think our agenda is really robust tonight, so we'll probably get through it within an hour. And I think the two things that are not included on here are a couple of events that we want to be thinking about in the next couple months. So anyway, we'll get to that. But just want to call to order and do a little bit of attendance. And before we do that, can I ask for a volunteer to handle the meeting minutes tonight? Amy, I can see you talking, but I can't hear you.
Did we didn't get a volunteer at the end of the last meeting?
No. Oh, and then I think we lost her.
I will attempt.
Okay, it's totally fine. I'll take the attempt.
Okay.
Nicole, did you cut your hair?
I did.
Looks great.
Good haircut for a heat wave.
Yes.
Seriously. Okay, cool. Well, in attendance right this second, that could change in a minute. We have Eileen Rooney, Benny Wheat, Daniela Nedbalik, Nicole Jacob, Jeremy Little, and Lindsay Aberbrook. Lindsay's having some issues with her camera, so we may hear her from time to time, but you just won't see her. And then Amy Rando was here and she popped off, so she may be back on again. I know that Teresa is on vacation, and we'll see if Maureen and Sherry pop on, and kind of go from there. Cool. All right, well, quick check-in. Thanks everybody for your patience around the month of July. The idea was that we could all meet virtually, and then they were voting on it, and then the timing sort of didn't work. And you know what? We've like worked our butts off this year, so I think like 1 month off didn't hurt us. Hopefully everybody agrees to that, but anyway. Hey Sherry, we can see you. Thanks for joining. So I thought maybe tonight for like, you know, our monthly check-in, we could maybe sort of tell each other what when you were going back to school, right? Because it's right around the corner. What was like your favorite school item that you were just so excited to purchase every year? Or like that one thing that you were like, oh, I love this. And I'll go first. There was this, I don't know if anybody remembers the Curious George store in Harvard Square, but I bought like this pencil case that had all these buttons on the side, and like the eraser popped out the side and the top flipped up, and it was awesome. It was so great. And I definitely lost it like halfway through the school year. But anyway. All right, Benny, you go next.
Okay, Trapper Keepers, hello. I was obsessed with my Trapper Keeper, and I also in the 7th grade or the 8th grade maybe started a like personal organizing business for my friends, because we would get like, they would do a check of our notebooks or something to make sure we were organized. Or they were trying to teach us organizational skills, but instead of teaching us organizational skills, they taught me entrepreneurial skills, where my friends would like pay me $1 and I would organize their Trapper Keeper for them. My dad was so proud. My parents are both entrepreneurs, and he was like, you could see his eyes light up when I told him that I was charging my friends to organize their Trapper Keepers. So that's me. How about you, Nicole?
I like those pencils that had the smelly erasers, like the mechanical pencils. So I know I always would look forward to doing that, because it just brought me joy. It smelled like grape and bubble gum and all kinds of stuff. Daniela.
This isn't something that I purchased, but was a freebie, and it was a bowling alley in New Hampshire, Lido Lanes. I don't even know if it's still there, but they had these tie-dye pens, and the pens had grips, and it had blue ink, and I just had to have all my notes in like the same color ink because I have minor OCD tendencies. And so I would make sure that I grabbed a bunch whenever I could, and that actually lasted me from high school through college. And when I started running out, I figured out how to like take the pen apart, find blue ink, and like put it in there, because I just wouldn't let it go. But yeah, those tie-dye pens with grips. How about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, Benny stole everybody's thunder with the Trapper Keeper, but the other thing was purchasing book covers. So like in high school, we had to cover our books, but they were so expensive that usually I'd buy one and then hoard paper bags for the summer and cover my books with the paper bags. So that, and always had to have a new pink bubblegum eraser, like the big ones, you know, because those smelly pencils on your mechanical pencils, those smelly erasers, they only made it through like the first month of school. After that, you needed the big fat pink bubblegum eraser. So those are what I looked forward to. So how about you, Sherry?
My mouse died on me. That's what took me so long to get in here. I surmise that you're talking about the favorite thing that you purchased before going back to school. I never had any money because I didn't get an allowance. Whatever we needed, my parents, if it was reasonable, would get for us. So we always went on these major school clothes shopping trips. My family, lots of people in my family were in the clothing business in New York City area. My father was a haberdasher. And so it was always a big thing. And we would go out, we drive out. We lived in Brooklyn. There were no department stores when I was little. So we would drive out to Long Island where they had malls and big stores. And it was like a giant family outing. And we'd get our new clothes for the school year. But we had to go all together. So it was like 5 of us going shopping for everybody for the school year. And I have wonderful memories of those road trips out to Hempstead, Long Island, or wherever the places that we went. And Amy, did you already go?
I did not go, and I had to sign out because I was getting called on the radio and a coworker was calling my cell phone. So I had to get out for a second. So I missed the question.
It was
The
your
question
favorite
was-
okay.
Yeah, the question was, what was your favorite item that you would purchase when you were going back to school? Like school supplies, Sherry had clothing, like whatever that happened to be.
I would probably have to agree with Jeremy, and I would say book covers. I like to buy cool book covers.
That's awesome. And then Lindsay, I think you're last. I don't know if you can hear us, but you're welcome to chime in if you want.
Yeah, I can hear you. You guys are bringing me back with book covers. I used to use paper bags as well and newspaper and stuff. So that was exciting to hear about in Curious George and Chapter Keepers. In the past and still now, I live my life by planners. So I've always been obsessed with any kind of calendars and planners and anything that helps me with my brain. P.S. Benny, can I hire you? So thank you for all of your answers. And yeah, planners or any kind of planners. That's mine.
Sherry, that reminds me, like, I think my mom always bought something that was like wool or like heavy tights. And it would, the first day of school would be like 95 degrees and I'd be in like a wool skirt and heavy tights. And it was awesome. You had no choice. That's what you wore.
We never got to wear our clothes right away because my father always had have his tailor them. I mean, obviously, the clothes horse thing has continued through the rest of my life after growing up with that.
That's awesome. That's great.
But it was more the experience of it than the clothes were great, but it was the whole family outing thing that was the terrific part of it that I loved.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the answers. Okay, so we don't have any public participation. We'll sort of hop right into the approval of minutes. So we do have the June 21st HRC meeting minutes. Hopefully everyone's had a second to take a look at it, but would anyone like to make a motion to approve?
1 second. It shows that I was present at that meeting and I was not.
Okay, that's great. We can remove that. Thank you.
I had emailed in a notice about that needed to do some spell checking because there were some spelling mistakes that needed to be, and I can't recall what they were offhand, but there were several that needed to be corrected.
Great, thanks. So if we have a whole bunch of errors, do we still vote on it, or do I make the edit and then we vote? Like, how does that work?
I think we can propose to
Approve it with the
Yeah.
changes? Okay.
Yeah.
So does anyone want to make a motion to approve those? Go ahead, Sherry.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes once the spell check is run and any spelling errors are corrected.
Great. Second,
Seconded.
any additional discussion? No, okay. And then let's vote. So Benny,
Yes.
Daniela,
Yes.
Nicole. Wait, Nicole wasn't
Yes.
there. Wait, can
I
Nicole
wasn't-
approve them if she
right.
wasn't there? No.
No.
Jeremy,
I was not there as well.
you
So if
weren't
you look,
there
I
either.
was absent in the minutes. So
It feels like it was 100 years ago, doesn't it? Sherry
Yes.
and Lindsay.
Yes.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Some follow-up items from the last meeting, and I think we've sort of already confirmed that we've done this, but Benny, thanks for doing the write-up for the paper for Juneteenth. I handled it for the Pride Month. And then just a financial update. Daniela and I met with Steve Mayo again, like 100 years ago. And it actually was a really great conversation. I think the big message, and we'd sort of heard it from Maureen too, was, you know, spend from our own accounts first. And if we get sort of close to them being empty, it's okay. And to have a conversation with Steve about what we need to pay. I think the other thing is to send the invoices directly to Sherry Dalton and she'll pay them. We don't have to do it out of pocket. And he had no problem with that. That made a lot of sense with him too. And to continue to sort of, you know, sell the hate has no home here signs as well. Go ahead, Sherry.
The question I have about that is if we don't have an idea of how much they're willing to approve and we have expenditures, then how are we going to know how to plan? I mean, for instance, you know, last year Hispanic Heritage it was expensive and we were lucky we got a grant, so we knew that we could have those particular performances. But how do we know if we can even enter into contracts with people and plan anything, even inquire, if we don't have our own budget keeping and raise some of our own money as well? And know also, I mean, they say that they'll just take care of it, but would they have given us $1,000 last October to pay for the mariachi band? You know,
So how much was Hispanic Heritage Month's events?
last year, I would say that it probably ran close to $1,500 because we had we also paid that wonderful Hispanic DJ who did all that singing and dancing,
Yep.
And also put together some materials, you know, for that particular night.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Teresa ever even asked for reimbursement. She bought a bunch of flags and banners and things. She was supposed to. I don't know if she did, because we never got we don't have an itemized accounting. And as we've discussed, and Daniela and I discussed, it would be very helpful if we kept some of our own itemization as well, so we can budget, plan. And again, if we don't know in advance how much they're willing to approve, how can we even go ahead and approach people to do things? I mean, will they go $1,000? I mean,
So I think, so first of all, we also did talk with Sherry Dalton about the idea of sort of looking back to see what was spent for each event, because assuming we would have submitted all of those receipts, we can ask her to do that and sort of give us an idea of what that looks like over the year. And then I think depending on that, and, you know, adding in the additional cost of ASL interpreters for as many events as we possibly can that aren't via Zoom, right? Like, we should be thinking about it in that way. So Daniela, do you feel comfortable reaching out to Sherry Dalton to ask if she can sort of give you the itemized list of like what was submitted last year?
Yeah, I can do that. And then also, as part of our new standard operating procedure, no one should be purchasing anything and emailing Sherry without emailing me. And then also there's a spreadsheet that you're supposed to fill out. So that way it tracks what event it is, how much, where did you buy? So that way, if we want to say, for example, buy buttons, it's not a mystery where we got buttons the last time. But yeah, so like that is standard. So like if someone's spending money and then just going to Sherry, how am I supposed to be like, yeah, how is anyone supposed to be treasurer? So that I think will help us also going forward. And props to Sherry for putting that into play. So I'll ask, I'm sure Nicole's already got it down, put an action item, but for my action item, I'll write it down is
I'll ask Sherry for an itemized list or itemization of all the reimbursements from last year.
That'd be great.
And then we can keep our own, it doesn't have to be really sophisticated, but just our own records going forward. So we, like, again, so we know where we bought things, how much we paid in the past, how much money certain kinds of activities cost us. I mean, even last year when we were trying to figure out on the Juneteenth, we were all scratching our heads wondering, yeah, how much did we pay last year to have the
Right.
Juneteenth committee come in? Because we didn't have that.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I think Daniela, you know, having everything sort of run through Daniela, it'll be super helpful, you know,
Yes.
for the coming year for sure. That's great. Sorry, Lindsay, I saw your hand and then I saw you.
Yes,
Go ahead.
sorry, I'm just gonna pop in really quick. I wonder if we are thinking about this backwards because I mean, everyone's right. I mean, the cost of things is important to know. However, the cost of things also has changed dramatically and will continue to change. So I wonder if it makes more sense to do kind of what it sounds like, Eileen, you might have been saying already, which is to, you know, submit requests, because I would guess we would get quotes for anything that we do ahead of paying for it. So we get a quote, we see what we have in our budget, and whatever else that we don't, we submit it. They'll either, you know, deny it or they won't. Or we can look for grants or other forms of funding, or, you know, volunteers or other community, whatever we can do to raise money. But if we think about it in terms of, we don't necessarily need to be able to plan that far in advance, and we really can't, because everything changes in terms of price anyway, and services every single year, and we add more events and we add things to our events. But if we involve different partners and even different towns and things like that, I think a lot of this could be funded through different, you know, state and community partnerships and things like that. But we can plan around the events rather than having the money then planning. We can look to see what things would cost, get different estimates, and then, you know, make proposals to whoever we submit that to. But we're never going to be able to get ahead of funding because the price is always going to go up or change, you know, depending on what it is or what's going on or whatever we add for events. So we can have a little bit in savings. That's a good idea. But I think for events, we sort of just need to get estimates and see where we can get funding and partnerships and stuff. I think that makes a lot of sense.
But
Those are just my
it
thoughts.
takes a
Sorry.
lot of time to apply for a grant or to set up a partnership.
Not even just grants, though. I think just reaching out and networking with people, you'd be surprised at how many knowledgeable people in the community would volunteer to do a lot of these things if we reached out to them. Like, I bet a lot of people want that on their resume as, you know, participating in, you know, a town event. Like, that looks good on, like, you know, someone's resume, even someone in the community. So I think, you know, using our networking and our partnerships that we already have can be very beneficial as well, depending on how we use them.
We do use them on our planning committees. We've had some wonderful involvement. I know Hispanic Heritage last year, and then with the Asian Pacific, we've had wonderful community involvement. But they were not cost centers. They weren't like entertainment that we wanted to purchase, you know, that. So I'm thinking that we still, so have you then decided that we're not going to do any fundraising just to get some more money into our revolving account so we have a cushion?
Yeah, so it was, I mean, Danielle, I'll let you jump into, but it was made pretty clear to us on the call that, first of all, like, we shouldn't spend a ton of time on finance in these calls. Like, if we put together a plan to throw an event and it's sort of reasonable based on what we've done in the past, that for the most part, that it will be approved. If it's something that's really out of the ordinary, then obviously we want to sort of flag it pretty quickly, like, this is coming, just so you know. But for the most part, you know, the town is going to support us. Does that mean that, like, we should be applying for
You're breaking up.
grants? No, I don't think that's necessarily a single event. Now, Steve also mentioned, yeah, can you hear me now? How's that? Is that better? Okay. I just got the message, your internet connection is unstable. It's so judgy. So I think, yeah, and Steve did mention that there were some things that we could do that would sort of increase our revolving account as well. So, you know, selling that hate has no home here signs, just from Daniela posting that, what, like 5-6 times, we made $130. So like it's certainly those kinds of things. Steve also mentioned, maybe we look into having some shirts made and selling those when we have events, and then that can go back into our revolving account. And then Sherry, to your point, if there are some grants that we want to apply for and have those go back in as well. The big takeaway was that the town is going to support us as they have in the past. And, if next year we realize that we need $3,000 because that's what we've spent, then, there's more of a proof that we need it in order to be successful with our event. So I thought it was a really positive conversation. Daniela, was there anything that I'm missing there?
No, just to clarify that, say for example, this year we spend $3,000 on all of our events, our 1,000 budget is going to turn into 3,000 because we can make a business case for it. So we won't always be so strapped going forward. And then he said fundraise without the word fundraising, and I just can't, I'm not that clever to say, but basically if we want to, I was thinking about offering I do paintings of small portraits, I would do that, and then usually I sell them for $25. I'll take 5 and give 20 to the HRC sort of thing. So there are other fundraising opportunities that I was thinking about potentially doing. They're not necessarily HRC related. So it's just a matter of hey, is everyone cool with this? I'm just trying to find a way to get our revolving count up because it is, it's gone. We don't have anything anymore.
Yeah.
I was thinking that perhaps, these were about partnerships. Did all of you see what went on with the boating, the lake boating this weekend? This was incredible. Through the recreation department, somehow or another, they raised money and it was a long list of businesses so that people could actually go boating for free on Lake Quannapowitt on Saturday. And when I looked at that and I said, what if we approached businesses and said, how would you like to be a supporter of our diversity initiatives? And in turn, we give them some sort of certificate they can hang up in their business or store, they can put on their website. So it doesn't really cost us anything. We're not trying to sell anything, but we're getting, a yearly support from them, almost like a membership, and of course it's a sponsorship, a membership. And it could be, believe me, for the savings bank, if we said $500, they'd say, oh, drop in the bucket, businesses like that. Smaller businesses, you might ask for, call them platinum, gold, silver, whatever, we could even do it that way if we wanted to tier it. But I think that we do need to get some money into that revolving account so we do have a little bit of flexibility without always going hat in hand.
Yeah, and I think the danger here, and then I definitely see Benny and Lindsay's hands, so I want to go to both of them. The danger here is that we are not a nonprofit, we're a town committee, and so we just need to be thoughtful about asking for money from town businesses to fund our events. It's a different story if we're partnering with them. But I sort of got the impression from Steve and Sherry Dalton that wasn't necessarily the direction that they were hoping that we would go into. If it happened that businesses sort of made that donation to us, then obviously, we could ask for the approval to accept it. But that was sort of the one piece that was just remember that we're not necessarily a nonprofit. So I think I saw Benny first, and then I saw Lindsay's hand. So Benny, do you want to go first?
I was loving that idea of getting sponsorships from the savings bank, man. That's so we can't, because Steve had said to me in some email at some point, raising funds, and I was like, can you elaborate? Are we allowed to fundraise? And he said something like, well, not really fundraise, but you can get sponsorships or something. He said something like that to me. So I kind of thought that was maybe okay, but I guess I would love concrete guidelines, because saying, remember, we're not a nonprofit, that's not a concrete guideline. I want to know, like, what are we allowed to do and what are we not allowed to do? Because the savings bank, I feel like they give away shit tons of money. Like they're big supporters of the community. So places like that, I feel like it would be nice if we could approach them.
Yeah.
But it would be good to know whether or not we're allowed to. The other thing I was going to say is, so we applied for the Mass Cultural Council grant every year, and we get about $500, or we have for the past couple of years. Do people know of other grants? Like, I'm just not that savvy in the world of like small, like just like small community grants that a person might be able to apply for, because we should apply for all that.
Yeah, actually, Sherry applied for one through an organization recently, but before we get to that, maybe we sort of jump to Lindsay. I think she may explode if she doesn't.
You're so right, because I have
ahead.
so many thoughts. I know so much about this stuff. Sorry for a different conversation because it would take up too much of this time. Some of this is thinking too big, honestly. Like, I do think like partnering with companies is good, or getting whatever, but tiers and stuff like that, like, why aren't we looking to small businesses or even just individuals? I know how much that I donate to other things that I support. So whether it's a nonprofit or not, or tax exempt or whatever, if I support something, I throw money at it if I can and if I like it. So why aren't we looking at individuals who can, who like certain causes? I mean, I have like a weirdly popular cat page on Instagram that's about, promoting mental health. So I connect with like cat lovers and mental health people. And if I added some sort of donate link on that thing, like it's got like 3,000 followers, like things like that. We can use individuals to help promote causes too. We don't need to think big necessarily. Like, even if a few people just threw $25 at something, like those Instagram buttons go a really long way very, very fast. Like, I can't tell you how many times that I'll donate to causes randomly that I support that I know are legitimate. So I think if we're thinking too big, it'll be hard. We can get grants. You're right. It's complicated though. I agree. That's a process. That's one way to do it. Or we can think of where we are in like technology right now and like in the community, and everyone's on social media. Why aren't we generating money that way? It's very easy. And most people are fine with clicking donate to like 99 cents or whatever. That adds up. If you have 3,000 people looking at it, like that's a good way to generate income. Like, so I think maybe we should be looking at individuals and people in the community who want to support what we do, because I bet a lot of people would if we just found a way to connect with them, rather than thinking of, businesses or grants, which are complicated. And a lot of people don't care if they get, money for it. Just people want to donate to something that they care about, and if they can, they will. And that's how most things work. So those are my thoughts. I will have to shut my video off. I'm really sorry, guys. Thanks for listening to my talking about.
Question.
Go ahead, Sherry.
Are we allowed to add a donate bus button to our Facebook page? No, I would think so. I'm also thinking of economy of scale,
Not even like anything like that, but a similar thing. Like, can we get donations from individuals or small business owners, or just people like who want to invest in the town and what we're doing or what we support?
I just
something
don't
like
think we want to get into any more retail stuff. I mean, it's hard enough selling the signs. If we have more products, it's just more stuff. that we
No,
have to
not
do.
products, just asking for people, to support what we're doing, financially, not selling
Exactly.
anything
No, I
necessarily.
agree with that. That's why I think that might be a better route for us but it's always easy if you go to a business that can do a few $100s than try to get 8 individuals to give you $25. I'm just talking about economy of scale, even though we welcome it. But again, do we really want to get into a lot of sales? More sales items? Are we getting into the coffee mug and t-shirt business? That's a lot of, we have to lay out the money and then look at all the signs we have that haven't been sold. We've got tons. It takes a lot to sell product.
All right. I mean, so that's the update from Steve Mayo. I think the one question that he did mention was the t-shirt sales. So Sherry, to your point, if that's not something that we want to do as a group, then we could certainly pass on that. I looked into sort of union made t-shirts and their ability to sort of print the logo for us. whether we'd want to even consider that and something that we could sell at both the farmer's market and also, you know, the one in August and then the one in October too. And maybe if, you know, we do it individually with sales through social media. But if that's not something that we're interested in doing as a group, then I think we could certainly pass on that and stick to our sign sales. But I sort of got the impression though, and Daniela, tell me if I'm wrong, that like soliciting organizations directly wasn't exactly what they wanted us to be doing. And that this was really, you know, this is a town run organization. And so, you know, there's one thing to ask for a donation to a nonprofit. It's another thing to be asking for it for, you know, an appointed town council.
It's actually
Danielle.
illegal.
Yeah.
It's illegal for us to ask for donations. We can't solicit for donations. But if we wanted to, say, for example, put on an event and it was celebrating an Indian holiday, and we go to Maya, an Indian restaurant, and ask them if they want to be a part of the event in some sort of way in the form of a sponsor, and word it like that, then we can do it. Otherwise, it's illegal. We can't ask for donations and we can't solicit for money because we are a government organization. So that's another thing we kind of have to jump through.
Right.
I'm confused now because I thought they said we could get donations. I mean, I'm confused.
We can
We have-
accept.
We
can
can
just
accept
we
the
can't have a
donation. We
program.
can't ask for the donation.
So how
Right.
do people know they can even donate to us?
Well, that's the whole point. There you go. Right. So anyway, I don't know that I want to spend much more time on this, except to say like that was our update. I think if we are all in agreement that we're going to continue to do what we've done in the past, then we'll sort of nix the other ideas of how to raise the revolving fund, but and continuing to sell the signs and maybe because we've been doing it and depending, and I'm happy to go count how many signs we have left, by the way. Maybe that's something that we could all commit to in the next few months is to sell a handful of signs on our own to sort of help increase the revolving fund.
Aren't the sign sales just basically replacing the money we just spent on the signs? They're not
From a
really
few years
earning
ago.
any income. Yeah, if we bought them last year, so it's not really earning income. It's just covering the cost we already had.
Right. From a few years back.
Yeah, so it's not really income.
Well, it would be income it would be income for this year, right? Because it was purchased well before 2019 or whatever. And then there are some others that have been purchased by a member of the community that can be part of our sales too. That makes sense.
I just wish if we were a more diverse community, it would be so much easier when we have these events that are in celebration of certain groups of people. We just don't have them to draw upon. It's just, Wakefield's not that diverse. It's getting more so, but it's just really not that diverse.
Okay. Any other discussion around that? No, okay. So we have a couple of farmers market events coming up. One is this Saturday, and then there's another one on October 1st. This Saturday, Teresa actually had originally signed up, but she can't attend. Would anyone be interested in stepping into her slot? It's from 10 to noon.
Question. So what time, doesn't the farmer's market start at 9?
It does. And so I thought I would go a little bit earlier.
Deal set up and stuff.
Yeah.
I can help this week.
Yeah, I'm going to be there from 10 to 1, and it's lovely to have company, but we don't have that much activity. So if some of it is lightly staffed, and just one person, I think we can handle it.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. So Nicole, you'll come from 10 to noon? Thank you. And then Benny is from 11 to 1.
Yeah, so I have a standing meeting every Saturday from 10 to 12.
Okay.
Which is why when I put myself down as like provisionally available, I could come sort of at the end. I could like maybe leave my meeting early, but not by that much, and like clean up or whatever. I don't know. It sucks because my availability is like the opposite of what you need for the farmers market. So I can come at the end to help as best I can, but I probably can't come at 11.
Okay. Anyone else available at that time that could come and help?
So so Sherry's there from 10 to 1.
10 to 1. How about
So
our
it's-
students?
Mhm. So
Um,
it's from 9 to 11 is me, 10 to noon is Nicole, and then 11 to 1 is the slot that I was hoping to fill. Okay, go ahead. Oh, Jeremy? Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, unfortunately, I'm out of town, but I don't know if you guys need a tent, the pop-up. I don't know if it's something you want. I think the weather's supposed to be good, but you might want to be out of the sun.
Yeah, definitely.
If you need it and nobody else has one, I can arrange to have mine where someone can grab it if needed.
Okay. I think I have one. I have a couple of them, and then I have a table too, so I'm happy to bring that as well. And I could probably come back and sort of relieve Nicole. Nicole, if you're comfortable with that, I can come at noon. Yeah, okay.
And I'll help clean up because I'll be there at 1 o'clock. So
Okay.
Yeah, and I can come. I just won't come I can't come at 11. I can probably come closer to 12.
Okay, that's great.
But
Thanks, Marissa.
do you want me to reach out to our 2 students and see if either one of them might be able to help out?
Who are our students? I forgot. I don't.
We have Vanessa
Mhm.
and
Ashley.
Ashley. Ashley's our official student, but Vanessa seems to volunteer to do. She's not even official, but she wants to help out and she wants to eventually be on the commission.
What
So-
are their last names?
One is Westlake.
Oh, Vanessa. Okay, so she is in marching band for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. She may want to, but
Okay.
they don't get out there from 12 to 9 every day. So
Okay, that doesn't work. And then Ashley. I can't
Yeah,
remember her
I
last
can't
name.
remember her last name either. It's escaping me, but I think we're probably okay for this Saturday. I think between me and Benny and you, Sherry, at the end of the day, I think we'll probably be all right. And then the second date is October 1st. And so I was going to do the same for 9 to 11. And then Daniela, I have you down for 10 to noon. Does that work for you? Okay. And then Benny is tentative again, so it would be great if anybody was available from 11 to 1.
Yeah, I'm the same. I would be more like 12 to helping, 12 until we print everything out.
Yep.
I'm sorry that I'm out of town. One of those rare times I'm out of town that particular week.
Okay.
Is that when we can ask help from the students?
Yeah, why don't we do
Probably.
that?
I don't think they don't have a show. Well, Vanessa, maybe not, because they probably have practice on Saturday, but you could, I don't know the Ashley person, but
Ashley
Vanessa
Carter,
knows them.
I just looked it up. Ashley Carter.
Carter.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Who volunteered to reach out to them? Was that you, Sherry?
I'll get in touch with Ashley tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay, couple of things that, anything else that we want to talk about when it comes to the farmer's market? Sorry to move on.
Oh, I have another idea. I just thought of it. I was speaking with Emma's brother today. She hasn't left for college yet. If we really need someone, I wonder if Emma wouldn't step in.
Sure, if she was interested, that'd be great.
And that's
Wanna reach
for
out
this
to her?
Saturday? Are you talking about this Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
What now? Tell me the slots again you really need filled.
But you don't need anybody for, do we still need someone for Saturday? Or are we okay for Saturday? I mean,
We're okay. I don't
Yeah.
know that we need, I mean, it's like 3 days away. I don't know that we need to like drag more people in. It's totally fine.
Okay, so I shouldn't contact Ashley for this week.
I would
Okay.
just let it go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay. Matters not anticipated, but probably should have been added anyway, is the Hispanic Heritage Month subcommittee. And Sherry, I know that you and Teresa have been connecting by email and
but we really haven't spoken at all, and she said she's talked to some of her friends but we have not, we're really behind on this, as unfortunately. Last year, we pulled it off, that fantastic thing in 2 or 3 weeks. Let's see what we can do this year. We have, again, we have nothing, but I know that Vanessa wanted to be involved, you volunteered, Teresa will help. I know Donna was interested, but she has some health issues, so I'm not sure if she's able at this time.
Yeah.
But Teresa will be back on the 22nd.
yeah, okay. And then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Do you want to see if you can proactively like book a meeting with Teresa when she gets back and
Mhm.
just jump on the call anyway?
Mhm.
Okay. That'd be great. Okay. And then Indigenous Peoples Month, Benny was so lovely to
Yeah.
volunteer to chair.
I volunteered to chair, but then I didn't do a single damn thing after that. So Eileen, I'm gonna send you an email or a text message and we can find a time that you and I are available and we can post it.
Okay, that would
I
be great.
think we're all heat addled from this summer.
I totally get it, 100%. Is anyone else interested in volunteering for the Indigenous Peoples Month Planning Committee?
What usually goes on?
I mean, this will be, we'll figure it out, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
what,
in the past, we've only done virtual events so far.
Mhm.
We did kids' books readings the first year of the pandemic, and then last year we did a not so much kids, but still a reading. It was like artwork and readings from a collection of essays and poems and stuff.
is it going to be live this year?
I
Are
mean,
you hoping?
I think that would be better. Yeah.
Maybe, this is just an idea. I know that you've had contact with people from the tribes. Maybe have someone who's a tribal storyteller do a story hour.
Yeah, that'd be great. I reached out to Buffy St. Marie too, to see if they're touring or anything like that, and it sounds like they're not. So it was like, we'll try it, see if this is.
Yeah, and do we have, $10,000 or $20,000 to pay them?
Maybe.
But I was thinking like something like that, that if people from the tribe would come and perhaps have items that are representative, and then have someone who's a skilled storyteller, that would be really engaging for people to gather around and have someone tell them stories and fables.
Definitely. Maybe even something we want to partner with the library.
That would work really well with the library.
All right. Well, sounds like it's just me and Benny. That's okay. We'll do it. No problem.
You can put me on it. I can help out. It's
That'd be great.
November, right?
November.
November.
No, it's October.
It's October, and see, it comes on the heels of Hispanic Heritage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can put me on it.
That'd be great.
It's the week of Columbus Day. Is it considered a month or just the day?
I think we could do something during the month if we wanted to. I think that's part of the
A lot of towns do events kind of leading up to or surrounding Indigenous Peoples Day. Because if every town tried to do their event on Indigenous Peoples Day, it would be like a little bit of a cluster. So there's kind of a spread.
Yeah, it would be impossible.
Yeah. Plus, that's a holiday weekend, and some people take off.
All things to think about.
I only ask because I just Googled Indigenous peoples, and it comes up like Native American month is November actually. So that's why I asked. So I don't know if there's a bit more to look into there, or if it's just assumed that it's around the old Columbus Day.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
So
think
just-
in Massachusetts, didn't they officially rename Columbus Day Indigenous People Day?
Oh, did Massachusetts do it?
I thought it was the Fed. Jeremy actually is a good point, right? Like, do we do something in October, or do we celebrate in November because of the fact that we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month?
We could do something for Indigenous Peoples' Day just to acknowledge it and reinforce that day versus Columbus Day. And then we could also do November if we wanted it, since the end of the year tends to be light. But for both that and Hispanic Heritage Month, just keep in mind something that could be either a weekly or by twice a week postings for social media that I could do, whether it's people profiles, special dates, flags, just something that could have a picture, something that can help and be educational. Just let me know. I would join either committee, but I'm going to be down for the count and on bed rest from surgery. So I'm not really sure how cognizant I'm going to be for recorded meetings that are posted to the internet. So, but I will be able to publish social media and be able to have my husband review it if I need it.
That's awesome. Thank you. You do so much good work with the social media stuff, so we will take it. Okay. All right. So more to come there. Donna let us know that sorry, before we go forward, anything else we wanted to talk about when it came to that? No. Okay. Donna Murphy let us know that unfortunately she'll have to step down from the committee just due to some health concerns. And so we let the town council know. And we'll wait to hear from them about next steps. Question for everyone. Is this something that we could be recruiting for directly? Or is this something that the town council just posts online and that's it? People will just apply.
I was recruited, so I know that you can ask. I mean, we have to apply, but I was asked to apply.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, same here. I was asked by someone else in town to consider it if I wanted to be involved. So it's not that you can't explain to someone what you do and that, might be an opening at some point and they, can keep their eyes out, but they will have to go through the formal application nomination process.
I
You
would
can be
definitely
encouraged
directly,
to apply. Yeah,
Yeah.
people can encourage you to apply, I guess.
I would definitely get in touch with the two moms that have worked with us on the Asian Pacific Islanders the last 2 years and to tell them that there is an opening. They're both absolutely terrific. They have lots of connections and they're very creative and they're lovely people. So I will tell both of them if there's going to be an opening, if they might want to apply for it. Because they're already thinking about what they can do to help out the next year. So,
I guess since we're on this, I think I will have to too and resign because I'm moving in July and I just don't know if I have the bandwidth to, I mean, I don't want to, but so I'm not really sure what I should do. I can't volunteer to be on any committee because I don't know what is happening the next day. So I would take any suggestions or whatever you guys think is best because I don't want to, not pull my weight, I guess. But that is where I am as well. My term ends in April, I believe. So
My 2 cents, if I can throw them out there, is that
mhm.
I would like to have you on, even if you're not committing to hosting chairs and stuff, because I think just your attendance at the meeting and the insight you bring is stuff that I would hold on to until the day you say I'm leaving town. That's just my
Oh, thank
take
you.
on it. So
And
I agree
you
with that
don't
without
have to
putting
live in
pressure on you to
Wakefield.
do that, but I agree that your presence has been wonderful, and
Yeah.
but I also understand that it can be a lot of a commitment, even just attending a meeting, and I understand that too. So I'm sorry you're going through so much. That's really tough.
Yeah.
Are you leaving Wakefield entirely?
I'm moving to San Antonio.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
just
lot.
not
So it
next
sounds
to
like
the
you
next
need,
town.
Yeah.
no, you need some time, it sounds like, to sort of focus on moving completely halfway across
Yeah.
the country. That's a lot. That's a
Wow.
lot.
I mean, Nicole, maybe you know,
I'll go month by, I mean,
you decide what you want to do, right? But maybe if you can make any suggestions of individuals that you think would be a good fit, I think that would be super helpful.
okay.
But I agree with Jeremy. I mean, I think your input has been fantastic. And obviously your connection with the Juneteenth committee has been fantastic too.
Yeah,
And
that.
so, you know, I think we as a group want to support you. So you let us know what makes the most sense.
Absolutely.
We still get you for a year no matter what, right? Like we can still recruit you for stuff if we ever needed to, but you do what works for you.
I
Okay.
saw a couple years ago on the Facebook page, we posted like job openings. It must have been when there were position openings. So I could see what that looks like. I had no idea Facebook could even do that, but I could throw that out there to see if any of our followers would want to join. But I'm hoping that
That's a good idea.
Sherry's contacts are available and willing. Since I mean you spoke so highly of them before when you were working with them, so they just sound great. But
And Eileen and Benny saw them in action, last year when I had COVID and I couldn't be there, and they were just so reliable and enthusiastic, and like you said, they have good ideas.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, I think, the possibility of adding more people of color to our group, I think is positive and necessary. So anyway, okay. All right. So there we go. That's the update for Donna and Nicole. Let us know what you decide. When we were selling the signs, I had a number of people saying that they would be interested in volunteering, which made me start to think about whether we keep a distribution list going in the Wakefield HRC, inbox. And when we're doing things like, maybe even just the farmer's market, I don't know how comfortable we are having people by themselves at the farmer's market that's a volunteer, but we could certainly send out a note to those people that have purchased signs to say, one, we have an opening and so you are welcome to apply, but here are some events that are coming up and we would love your help. And maybe like even, sharing our post, the notices that we send to the Wakefield item, maybe we put them together in like a little newsletter and get them out to those people too, and they can share it. And I'm happy to take that as a takeaway if we all agree that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I think we should 100% keep an email list of interested people.
Yeah.
And the farmers market's a perfect time to have a sign-up list where people give us their information, because the fact that they give it to us means they've agreed to be contacted by us. Yeah. And I have a list from the library too, from people who went to last year's International Women's Day. It's not a very long list, but it's still a list.
It's great. So, if you have it and want to share it with me, Sherry, I can add it to the DL, the town. That's great. Okay. And then Lindsay, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I think that's a great idea to keep a list for volunteers. I mean, I think people would want to do it for jobs, for college, for volunteer experience. Like a lot of people wouldn't mind, throwing in a couple of hours for a farmer's market or anything. I mean, that's how I volunteer for the medical reserve. They just send out emails, and if people can do it, they sign up for certain shifts, and they have like hundreds of volunteers. They train them, and then we run them by ourselves without, we have the oversight of a member of the, main committee, but we function independently and know how to do it. So the volunteers often run a lot of the events. So I think if you have enough people that have done things enough times, they all can just kind of do things like the farmer's market, at least for like a little bit. It might be helpful and take some of the pressure off the smaller group of us that maybe can't do days like that and stuff.
Yeah, it's just that I know that last spring, we had one thing after another, and it was exhausting. You know, March, April, May, June, it was just, we had such a full calendar, and there's only so many of us, and most of us were doing, double and triple duty of events. So the more people we can get from outside to help us, the better.
Yeah.
And then, they're future commissioners.
Right.
I mean, that's how I came into it. I volunteered to do some writing and to help out hosting at a live event. And then an opening came up. So
Same here. Same here.
that's why you got chosen, Eileen.
I am just
Because
so
we said, my God, this person's such a really good volunteer. Seriously,
you're right.
we talked about what a good volunteer you were. That you should be a commissioner.
We got to find more people. That's what we got to do. Okay, sounds good. So anything else that we wanted to talk about in sort of matters not anticipated? No. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
I guess, do you want me to even mention that Cummings grant thing to everybody, or is it just too big?
It's really big, but
Yeah.
Sherry was kind enough to sort of look into a grant through the Cummings organization, and it was extremely large and probably not the right fit for us.
I asked them if we were eligible. I told them who we were, and they said yes, but that we had to apply for a minimum of, hold it, $10,000. That would fund us for a few years going forward. I mean, we could say that's our fund so that we could build the case so we can always have hearing assist. We can have interpreters. The grant would help us to have interpreters at our events. I bet they would give us that grant for that.
I love that.
So I don't know, like I said, it's an awful lot of money, but we could make a case, especially in terms of something like the interpreters at live events. And
I mean, is that something that we should bring up to Steve Mayo? Like, this is a grant. It'll be pretty expensive, but I mean, not expensive, but worth it.
generous.
Something that we should consider. I think that we could certainly do that.
Never hurts to try, right? I mean, we may as well see if we could get it. Why not?
All right, sounds
Nothing
good.
to lose.
Sherry, why don't I take your email that you sent and I'll share it with Steve and I'll copy Daniela.
Okay.
And then we can sort of get his feedback and kind of go from there.
Okay, and indicate to him that an area that it would be helpful with is like having interpreters at all our events going forward, because that's such a good sizable amount of money.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a musical event, it's even more expensive.
Sounds good. I like it.
Okay.
Amy?
Hi, I had a quick question. You guys might have discussed this at a previous meeting. I know that at Quabbin Mediation, there was going to be an active bystander training, and the last that I heard from Nicole, they weren't doing anything in person. It was only going to be virtual. I spoke with one of the WAVE officers today, and they just didn't know if there was any further update on that, if that was still the same, that they're not doing anything in person, or.
They actually, I'm one of the facilitators. They are in very limited circumstances doing some things in person now. It requires some additional training. They are having, I don't have the date with me, they tried to have community events, which means open to anyone in the public over the summer, and they completely bombed. I know, because I was supposed to facilitate, prepare, did all the preparation, and then it was canceled. So I'm hoping, there should be another community event coming up soon, but it will be virtual, the community event. It's only with very specific contained organizations that they do the live. That's what I've learned as part of that organization. I've already had 3 different events canceled that I was prepared for. So it's really tough getting these things scheduled.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll send that information so that it can be an addendum to the minutes. Who's taking minutes today?
Nicole.
Okay. Nicole, I will send you the information I have from them about the public meeting if it's not too late, that you can just put an addendum in the minutes. I'll add that in for you.
Thanks, Sherry.
It's the kind of thing that we can put on our, Danielle, we can put that on our Facebook page, you know, to help advertise it. I've done that in the past and I didn't do it for this one. I got, like I said, heat addled.
No worries. Okay. Nicole, do you mind sharing the action list? I know, I'm sorry. No pressure. Well, I'll fill it in with you too.
Oh, geez. Okay. Say a little prayer for me right now. I can't even see. I need glasses, reading glasses. I'm serious. Okay, wait. We're still, we're going to fix the things in the agenda from last month, and then it's gonna be on there, right? Let's see. Still, we talked about the account for like a long time, so I don't even know. We need money in a revolving account, so we're gonna really go back to Steve Mayo and ask about other ways that we can have money.
One in particular is the grant that Sherry just brought up, the Cummings grant. So I'll take care of that.
Okay.
And the other thing was Daniela was going to talk to Sherry Dalton about the specifics of our spending in the past year.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that we can anticipate how much, even though things have increased in price, how much.
I do have that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Danielle. I do have that on there to get the invoice, a dedicated invoice from the last year, so we know. Yes. The farmers market, we've got some people set up. We just need some people for the October date. Sherry's going to contact Ashley.
No, they nixed that.
Oh yeah, we're not going to do that.
They
That's right.
nixed that.
Sorry.
I thought we only nixed that for this weekend, but we still need
Somebody for October.
Yeah.
You could do it for October. Yeah,
Okay.
not the 20th.
Okay, I will talk to Ashley
The terrible secretary.
about
Sorry.
October 1. Since I can't be there, I'm happy to try to get someone for you.
Sherry is going to try to go ahead and set up a subcommittee for the Hispanic Heritage Month. Benny and Eileen are going to, and Jeremy are going to get started on the Indigenous people event celebration, something to happen. And Danielle is going to start putting stuff on Facebook to celebrate those two events. And we are going to start that volunteer list that Sherry has, so we can start looking at people to volunteer at various things at the table or what have you. And then with the coming grant, and then Sherry Oken is also going to find out about the Quabbin community event for active bystander and pass along to Amy Rando and Wave. Does that sound okay?
You
Nice
did
one.
great.
Yeah, good job. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's it. So would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
It's getting dark. So moved.
Any seconds?
Second,
All right, let's vote. Benny,
Yes.
Nicole,
Yes.
Sherry,
yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Daniela,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
and me, yes. Thanks everybody for doing this. Welcome back from summer and stay tuned. We'll see you next September.
Next September or this September?
Yes, September.
I'm just kidding.
I know. See you in 2024.
Right. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye, everyone.